What's up, everybody? So, I'm making this video today to discuss fundamental analysis and how to go about the stock purchasing process. Now, I know there has been a number of people that have asked me, Dejan, what's the best way to go about purchasing stock? What are the key things that you look for? And I'm just going to give you guys some insight of some things that you all can do that can put you in a position to gain something financially. So, first things first, look over the income statement. Look over the revenues, look at the expenses, look at the ways that the company is making money versus what they're spending based on what they're bringing in. So, like I like to tell everybody, it's real simple. You don't have to go through an income statement and know everything down to the T. Sometimes it's just putting yourself in position to understand the basics. Let me give you an example. If you're investing in a company and you're looking over its income statement, would you invest in a company that's been losing in revenues for the last 3 to 5 years? Let's just say it's been a sharp decline. Probably not. That's an easy toss it out the window. Let's say that you also see another company that you're analyzing. Let's just say their revenues have been pretty steady, but at the end of the day, the expenses are heavily outweighing what the money that's coming in. So, is that a good investment? Probably not. You can throw that out. You see the kind of basic questions that I'm asking you guys? These are the kind of questions that you have to ask yourself when you're looking at these income statements. Sometimes it's not even a matter of looking for specific things. Sometimes it's just asking yourself if certain things make sense. And it can come to you that easy. So let me give you an example. When I'm investing in companies, I don't want any company that's been declining in sales over the last 4 or 5 years. Like, that's just not something I'm interested in. I'm also not interested in companies that are overusing, just overspending on debt. So let's just say they have some type of expenses that they're paying for on a month to month basis. If it's something that I think they're just overly using that's not really efficient for the business, I'm tossing that company out. It's not worth my time. Now, there are also people that look at the balance sheets as well. That's just as important as the income statement. And the reason I say that is because it pretty much lets you know how the business is standing financially based on the assets and the liabilities mainly. So, like, I like to ask people this question. Would you invest in a company that has less assets than they have liabilities? For me, probably not. Why? If a company has more liabilities than they have assets, how do I know that they'll be able to keep up with just paying debt off in general? That ties us into a few things that I wanted to talk about, which are some key financial ratios that a lot of businesses use. You can also find this data on morningstar.com or if you download the app in your app store. So let me tell you guys a little bit about what the quick ratio is. The quick ratio is your current assets divided by your current liability. This basically explains if your ability to meet any type of short-term debt obligations. In this case, I like to tell people when you're comparing financial ratios or just financial data in general, make sure to compare the data to at least two companies. That way you can benchmark that data and have a good comparison and contrast going on between those. Because I like to tell people, if it's not top three in the industry, I'm probably not buying it. And that's on top of what I'm going to find in fundamental analysis. So I want to find out if that company can meet short-term debt obligations. If it can't, it's probably not a good company. And that takes us into the current ratio as well. Not the current ratio, but the quick ratio. And that's, tongue twister there again. But there are other ratios as well, like the current ratio, quick ratio. You can look at things like the earnings per share, debt to equity ratio, price to earnings. There are a number of things that you can use to your advantage to determine whether a stock is really worth purchasing. I like to ask people, pull up those numbers. Those numbers are going to tell you everything. Because I think one of the biggest problems that a lot of people come in contact with is that they'll see a stock run up in price and they think, oh, well, this may be a good stock because it's going up a lot. Truth is, the market has probably not humbled that specific company just yet. So it's really important for a lot of us to utilize fundamental analysis to our advantage. So look through those income statements, look through those balance sheets. Again, if you see that a company has low cash on their balance sheets, it's probably not good or they're probably not able to do a lot. If you see that they have a lot of accounts receivable but really low revenues, that's kind of like saying, well, I can potentially have money coming in if these people make their payments, but it's not counting because no one's making those payments. There are a number of things that you could look for on balance sheets and income statements to look for red flags. I use this to my advantage each and every day. And I also suggest a lot of you guys take some time to look at the fundamental aspects of stocks or just anything that you're trying to get involved with. And I can't express that enough because I feel like a lot of people don't really take time to understand what they're getting involved with. Sometimes they're just waiting for call outs or they're just going through articles, just trying to capture any bit of data that they can get. Truth is, you have to go out and seek the information. Use Morningstar, use Finance Yahoo, utilize your brokerage accounts. That's what it's there to do. So for a lot of people that's out there, just to reiterate some things that I've said before, use those income statements to your advantage. Look at those revenues, look at those expenses, look at how the company does best with their money. See if they're actually putting away money in safe places. Look to see if they have strong management. Look to see if their assets are helping them accumulate more money. Make sure they're utilizing their liabilities as less as possible. Make sure they're not putting themselves in debt. Making sure that they're not putting themselves in position to where they can fail. You know, there are a number of things that you could watch for. And just going through this type of data is just really great for a lot of people. So just take time to get yourself brushed up on a lot of these terms. So like I said before, look up the quick ratio and current ratio. It's going to be a great way to show you if a company could really liquidate itself if it needs to, as well as meet any type of short term or any type of debt obligations in general. So just make sure you're doing your research on these companies to really see what they can do, because so many people go out blindly and situations just don't work out in their favor. So definitely appreciate everyone that's taking the time to watch this video, and I look forward to giving you guys some more content later. Stay blessed.